Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to the King of BBWs podcast. I am your host, Stefan Lorenzo. Here at the King of BBWs podcast, we're dedicated to the self-love, self-health, self-wealth, sexuality, sensuality, and overall well-being of all curvy, curvaceous women in America and abroad, as well as showing love and bigging up in all the real men who are not afraid to show their love and adoration for plus-size, curvy, curvaceous women. With that being said, I'd like to welcome you all to the very first episode of the King of BBWs podcast. Unfortunately, due to corona pandemic, I know a lot of us are working from home. I'm no exception, and so I hope you guys can bear with me during this crisis. I'm going to do my best to have high quality content coming to you guys on a regular. However, just bear with me because, this pandemic, it does set a lot of things back. I'm sure you guys are experiencing setbacks in your personal and business lives. I ask that you just steady the course and know that this too will come to pass. I thought I'd give you guys a little back information about me and how I came up with the idea for the King of BBWs podcast and brand, etc. But before I go there, I want to answer a question that I'm often asked by women, plus size women at that. And that is, why BBWs? Why BBWs? And they always ask me that question is like, hey, you're a handsome young man. Why are you attracted to BBWs? What is it? It's like a fetish for you or something like that? And this is what women say to me. And I always respond, my response is always the same, and that's, why ketchup over mustard or vice versa? That's just plus size women, curvy women. That's just something I'm attracted to, have always been attracted to. I can remember back to when I was 10 years old, being attracted to curvy, curvaceous women. All the way up. I hid that, though, that I was attracted to big girls. I hid that all the way up until I was about, I'd say, 17 when I met my children's mother, my daughter's mother. Shout out to her. Anyway, yeah. So it was so bad because I had I remember I had a skinny girlfriend, but she was like my fake girlfriend. I would bring her around the house, around my relatives, my mom and things like that. But my real girlfriend, my thick girl, my big girl, my BBW, she was like around the corner, and nobody knew she was really my girl, But that was when I was a child. We don't do those or condone that type of behavior at all. And I'm gonna be going real hard on all you closet BBW lovers, all you bitch ass niggas who closet BBW lovers. I'm gonna be going real hard on y'all, for real. Cause y'all niggas need to stop that. It's 2020. And y'all niggas running around this motherfucker closet BBW lovers. I know you niggas. You niggas know the ones I'm talking about. Y'all be in the club, right? And it's about 20 minutes before the club closed. The quote-unquote bad bitch you was trying to holler at, she wasn't popping none, and then you come in my section where the big girls at trying to skedaddle on what I got going on. You niggas better stop it. And we gonna expose you niggas every chance we get. But anyway, I digress. So with that being said, how I came up with the idea for the King of BBWs is I spent some time in federal prison, unfortunately. I was in prison for 6 years. And while I was in there, I'd say about my third year, about my third year, I really realized that I wanted to change my life. That I didn't want to stay in the cycle of incarceration and crime, etc. And then I want to do something to better my life and better my family's life and my children's life, and just something that I can be proud of. And so I got to thinking, racking my brain, researching different things. And I had a cell phone. In prison, cell phones, you're not supposed to have cell phones, but I had one, thank God. And so on a cell phone, I tried to research as many business ideas as I could. None of the things that I researched were really clicking, like really making sense. So, this gets real funny. In prison, there are no women, obviously, but a couple of us were fortunate enough in my building, my unit, to have cell phones if you had the money to pay for it. So, needless to say, I watched a lot of porn online. And all the porn I watched was, of course, BBW porn. But before I got my phone, again, there's no women in prison, so men, we have to do what we have to do. Shout out to all my real niggas. Did time, didn't tell on nobody, kept your mouth closed, and out here doing the right thing. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, so there were no women in prison, and men, you got to do what you got to do, to release stress, etc. So before I got my phone, even the guys on the yard who would sell like booty pics and things like that, they know all the pics of the big girls I would like. So they would bring them to me like, yo, Stefan, he gonna buy all of them, bring them to him. So it's like I kind of like, word kind of like got around the prison almost that I was like a BBW lover. And then even it got to a point to where a few of the guards, female guards, had got wind of that. They're like, yeah, he liked big girls. He really liked big girls. And so they used to, do little extra things for me here or there, etc. Nothing against the rules, but just little extras. And so when I got my phone and I was watching this BBW porn, I'm like, man, I knew BBW porn was big, but I didn't realize it was that big. And so I'm like, yo, I could start my own porn company, right? Because you in jail and your imagination really runs wild. And excuse me, this podcast is not about jail. However, this is some information about me you guys should know. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, I can start my own porn company. And so I went in with that. I really liked the idea. So I researched the porn business. I found out everything that I could find out. And it seemed like a viable business. And then the more I got to thinking about it, making love to the idea, I realized that, hold up, I got 2 daughters. That's not something that I feel, a business that I felt that I should have come home and started right away. Although I still might, just joking, maybe. But so that's why I kind of pumped the brakes on that. And then, I was watching podcasts while I was incarcerated, different podcasts, etc. And then I thought about it and it hit me. I said, no, why not start your own podcast? Start my own podcast dedicated to BBWs. Because nobody can talk about their love of BBWs like me, because nobody loves BBWs more than me, and that's why I'm the king of BBWs. And it just kind of grew from there. And here we are today. Excuse me. I'm a little nervous on this first episode. Never really been in front of a camera like this before, so you guys gotta bear with me. Okay, so that is basically how the King of BBWs podcast came to be about. So now that we got that out the way and I've finally lit my backwood, we're going to get to our topic of the night. And ladies, before I get into this topic, you all should know that yes, this podcast is dedicated to you. All right? It's dedicated to you. However, some of the things I'm going to say may seem as though like I'm jabbing you ladies, but I'm not. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let you in a man's mind and give you the information that you need to equip yourself with to be able to maneuver better as a woman. I'm not sure, but a lot of women, just like a lot of men, especially Hispanic, black men, our fathers weren't around. And for a lot of women, I imagine it's the same. And a lot of times, that fatherly guidance is needed. Is needed. So, with that being said, the topic for tonight, ladies, is stand by your man. Believe in your man. Stick with your man. You can chop it up so many different ways. But support your man. Support your man. And if you don't have a man, then listen up, because this is one of the major keys to keeping a man. And getting the man and keeping him. A man of quality, should I say. A man that's worth being kept. A man. It's a lot of males out here, but it's not a lot of men. And ladies, I think y'all can agree with me on that. So, stand by your man. And it's not a lot of that going on today. It's really not. From what I see. Everything is so fast-paced with social media and just life in general that there are not a lot of couples, I think, that are really standing this critical test of time, especially these quarantines. So to tie that in with my personal self, stand by your man. Okay, while I was in prison, I did 6 years in prison, 6 hard years in prison. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. I had a few little perks here or there, but it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was rough. It was very rough. I was at some of the most violent prisons in America. Not one prison, prisons. I got shipped all around the country. While I was in prison, pretty much everybody turned their back on me, wrote me off, like a bad check. I don't necessarily blame them for doing that, because before I went to prison for 6 years, I was out. I did like 3 years and was out for, 3 months, 4 months, and was right back in prison. So I don't blame them for doing that. But everybody wrote me off. Everybody just thought I was a crash dummy and, didn't really understand my plight. And nobody stuck by me except for one person. One person. And that person just so happened to be a woman. And here we are today. So ladies, I want you to think about that. If you have a man right now that's in prison, and he has a vision, a viable vision, even if it seems a little far-fetched, if you can, nurture that, support that. I mean, because ladies, one thing you all have that no one else has is like the ultimate way to separate the wheat from the chaff, should I say, and that's woman's intuition. Not to keep tying this back into jail, but I have to go here. Woman's intuition, I believe, is so real. I didn't realize how real woman's intuition was until, like, if you go into any jail or prison and you ask all the guys who are there, one by one, they're all gonna say something along this lines. Man, if I had listened to my girl told me don't go out that night, stay home that night. Or, man, my mom told me don't mess with that dude. Or my auntie told me that such and such, such and such. Like, if we had to listen to these women, and I was no exception, if we had to listen to these women who were in our life, that we wouldn't be in the position that we were in. So with that being said, ladies, the woman's intuition, that if a man if he's worth your time and he's serious, and if he has something, a vision that's worth believing in. And so you got to stand by your man. You know, you got to stay down to come up. That saying is so cliche, but it's so real. You know, you don't be a a manager at McDonald's overnight. You know, you're gonna start off on the lettuce. You know, you're gonna mop some floors. You're gonna work your way up to the fries. Then you're gonna flip the burgers. You know, and relationships are so much the same. You know, you have to stick by your man. You have to stand by your man. You know, what happened to just falling in love with a nigga with a bus pass just because you love the nigga? The grass ain't always green on the other side. However, ladies, I understand that in today's time, it's not easy to stand by a man. It's not easy to, you know, believe in a man, stand by a man, you know, even trust a man, because quite frankly, a lot of you all have been burned and taken advantage of, and that's just the sad truth. However, there's still a lot of good men out here, and you can't let the past, you know, make your future or pave the way for your future in that regard, so to speak. So I want you all to remember that, you know, stand by your man, use your woman's intuition, believe in him, all right? If he's backing you up, back him up all the way. Don't be insecure. Because if a man's going to do something, he's going to do it. And the reason why I said that is, let's say you have a man who wants to do something involving him being around a lot of women or coming in contact with women. Some of you ladies should know that a man, if he wants to do something, he's going to do it. So don't let that small tidbit of insecurity keep you from the bigger picture, which is standing by your man and growing together and building something. So I think I'm going to end it off right there for the night. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of the King of BBW's podcast. I am your host, Stefan Lorenzo, signing off. As always, when God creates, he makes no mistakes. Big is beautiful too, baby. And make sure y'all get at me in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button. We lit.